Okay.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Look at Paul. Paul scoots out really quick.
To move.
Did you make that?
I made this morning.
You made
That
it
is
today.
legit 6 feet.
That is a legit.
Okay, but you are way too close to Drew.
I am way too close to you, so help me out.
And
go.
technically, I'm still too close to you.
Let's see.
I mean, I can tell. I don't need
Back
that.
up like
that-
this?
I don't
There
need
we
that board to
I'm
see.
the adjudicator here.
Well, you took my spot.
Well, that's good.
Welcome to Sunrise Extra.
go.
We are practicing physical distancing, I like to
That's
say.
good.
There we go.
Physical distancing. Stay social
Thumbs
with
up.
us, right? We are watching your comments live, as always, on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and if it's easier for you to interact with us, text us, 503-226-5111. Today we are talking about, the huge edict from the governor that actually restaurants and bars wanted and were begging for. The mandate to shut down to all in-person dining and only offer takeout or delivery if you're able and for as long as you're able. Huge impacts on tons of people. We have a giant, industry labor pool in this city in particular for food. This is going to last for 4 weeks. In addition, all gatherings of now over 25 people are canceled. Grocery stores, pharmacies, other retail stores exempt, but the governor's saying if you do have a business that is able to kind of do somehow a takeout option of whatever services you provide, please do that or think about closing.
That's the big answer right there, or the big statement is that if you don't really have a takeout sort of option, if I was thinking like dry cleaning. Right. I mean, whatever the
I picked up my dry cleaning yesterday, and it was through the window, and he had gloves, and there was a glass partition between us, and
so they could pull it off.
do what you can. Yeah.
Whatever the business is, the governor is asking that you deliver your business in some sort of drive-through or drop-off fashion, and if you can't pull that off, then she's asking that you close.
Think of how this has just kind of rolled over the last several days. It was just a couple days ago that we were 250 people or less, and then it was 50 people or less, and then it's 25. And even though that is in the order, she recommends what the president said yesterday, 10 people or less. It's like this slow roll into a kind of self-quarantine kind of situation. What are you doing?
Well, at first,
It's getting in the way.
Gotta try and
I
have
thought this
some
was another
kind of-
short thing to point out that I'm not 6 feet tall. But then I realized it's our
Can I take
social
a picture of
Put that up against
distancing
yourself
tool.
again.
Put that up again, Rod.
What?
I
Just wait a
just need to
minute.
take
Aren't
a
you?
picture.
I think that can. Are you sure that's 6 feet long, Paul? Because now that I see it.
Exactly 6 feet.
It's exactly 6 feet, Kearney.
Measured is
All right.
exactly 6 feet.
Actually, I'm closer to 6 feet than I thought. This makes me feel
That's
good
what
about
I'm
myself.
thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
See, look, the same.
Can I see that for a minute? Can you pass it to me?
Here you go, Mr. Well.
I don't. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Because if this thing is shorter than me, it's not accurate. What do you think?
Are you 6
about
feet
right.
even?
No, I'm 5'11".
You're five. It's a little bit taller than you.
Taller
are.
than
Okay, good.
I
don't know.
I'm sorry,
really
Paul. I should have never doubted you.
1 inch.
Take measures on high.
Okay,
boy.
we already have questions. Good morning to everybody who's watching us on our Facebook stream.
Yes.
We were just talking about this, Miss Nina Melhoff.
What?
Let me see here. Susan Holden
Nanny?
says, are Oregon liquor stores closed?
I don't think so.
I haven't heard anything about
I
the
bet
liquor
liquor
stores.
stores and weed shops are doing pretty good.
Well, those weed shops, as you put it, I know the ones up in Clark County, on any given day, there are a lot of people in there.
Thank you, Mr.
Some of the ones
Obvious.
that I've been to. Mr. Obvious? Well,
well,
just
especially
messing with
now.
you.
trying to
we're stuck at
contribute,
home.
Brenda.
So Ginny Carlson says Waitstaff. Oh, you're talking about the restaurants. I thought you said I didn't see wait at first, and I'm like, is she saying that our staff is really afraid? But she says Waitstaff.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
absolutely.
I mean,
they're just
so
stuck in
restaurants
such-
obviously are not paying them while they're temporarily closed. And so what are you supposed to do? I mean, Fred Meyer's hiring, Amazon's hiring, and that's it, almost. You just got to wait it out. And the mayor of Portland is doing something very smart and good of temporarily stopping any eviction notices
That's
for
right.
people who can't afford to pay their rent. They're not getting a paycheck.
That's right.
So the fact of the matter is, though, liquor stores should be closed right now, right? If they can't provide a takeout or delivery option,
Maybe they'll pass it to you through the door.
I mean, I guess
they're a retail
yeah,
operation,
you're right.
aren't
You're right.
they?
Yeah,
You're right.
they're
No, you're right.
retail. They can
retail.
stay
You're not
open.
dining in at the liquor store. So there you go. You're right.
Right.
Well,
But,
have
I
you done
think-
this in the past? Or
There's no perfect solution is all I was going to say, because some people are still angry with this. Hey, people who had the comment here. Kara said, yet hundreds of people are still standing in long lines at the grocery store. That's a fact.
And you should be maintaining distance when you're standing in line. Part of this is what we do. All the experts have said, right? Until the coronavirus goes away or we get a handle on the spread, our economy is going to be tanking. Not my observation, their expert analysis. Gosh, my IFB is killing me. Hear all this static. So until that happens, the way to stop the spread is to not be right next to somebody so you could spread something if you have it. And that means all of us have to take that personal responsibility of, just because there's a line, don't fall in like you've always done before. The new normal is to keep distance, 6 feet of distance even, which is crazy when you think of hundreds of people in a line. I don't know what that looks like, but that's the edict. That's what you should be doing if you want to help lessen the problem.
Yeah, sometimes it falls on the individual, right? When you say my IFB is killing me, should you explain what that means? Because some people may think you have some kind of chronic. No, I know, but if you say my IFB is killing me, that could be a neck problem.
It's our earpiece, and it was just
Thank you, Rod. Nina does not like when I get off topic.
I'm backing you up on that.
Back on YouTube, I love this. Somebody says, we need some vodka to pass all of this over. New You on YouTube says, I place online orders for cannabis and then go pick it up.
Oh, there you go.
She also says, I'll stick with tequila if I need anything, but she's not panicking. There's no need to freak out yet. But yeah, and we had a funny thing on a lot of parents. Matt Zaffino posted a great video of his wife writing up this schedule for their son of from 9 to 9:30, it's breakfast time, and then it's get some outdoor, fresh air, and then it's math. And then he posted a word problem, which damn near took me a couple minutes to figure out.
The penny, nickel, and quarter.
Yes,
one?
and I
my
really had to
goodness.
really add that up because
Jeez Louise.
not a math person. But lots of people doing kind of at home little school lessons. Yeah. And so we have some great photos that we spotted on Twitter, or some comments too. This Martha saying our homeschooling curriculum includes honors laundry and AP vacuuming. Day one of homeschooling, and our letter is H, hence the hat, and the Hogwarts cloak. It's hard to say. I love this one. Homeschooling day one. We are 11 minutes in, and it's going well. As Alec Baldwin pours a cocktail. Aaron says, 1 hour into homeschooling, all I can say is teachers are heroes and patriots, and they deserve huge raises. And John Chandler, homeschooling has begun here, and I can say with absolute conviction, teachers should be paid like CEOs. Because your kids act out. For you probably. Oh, less 100%. So with a teacher that's, in regimen at school. Yeah. What are you guys doing at home, Drew?
Well, we have two of the best behaved children in school.
Definitely.
I mean, they're 7 years into school, and they do not make a peep at school. They've never had a complaint from a teacher, but at home, they are a different beast.
See? Yeah.
And what's tough is, and I feel for anyone who is trying to do the work from home, and now you've got your kids at home. They're 12 years old. My wife doesn't have to babysit two 12-year-old boys, but we're limited in what we can do. She can't take them to places to go hang out. They're not allowed in other people's houses right now. We're not having kids in our house. We're telling them not to go in other people's houses. So they're limited in what they can do. They're by themselves in the home, and they're driving each other nuts, therefore driving my wife nuts. And she keeps saying this line, I'm working!
Oh, yeah.
Don't you understand I'm working? No, they don't.
Do you have a backyard where they go out and entertain themselves for a couple hours?
Say it again?
Do you have a backyard where they'll go out and entertain themselves?
We have a backyard, yes. Will they go out there and entertain themselves? No. What those two cannot do is play well together for long stretches.
Well, they're brothers. Right. And don't you have an edict to get your butt home after work so you can give her
She said I did good yesterday.
break?
And I thought I got home a little late, but she said you did good yesterday.
Good.
Don't let it slip.
Hey, Chef Lisa Schroder is watching us live right now on Twitter.
Morning.
Thank you, Chef Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Drew, you talked to her live on the show today.
What a great segue. Thank you, Chef Lisa, for the segue.
We saved one of your sound bites from the show because she was talking about her experience.
We were looking for a local restaurateur to be the example because they're all going through difficult times right now. And yesterday the edict came down from Governor Brown. Dining in at Oregon restaurants is no longer an option. You can still get takeout. You can still get delivery service. Mother's Bistro in downtown Portland has been doing wonderful business and making wonderful food for 20 years. They are now doing the dine.
Delivery or
takeout.
takeout?
Thank you. They're not dining in.
Yeah.
They're delivering
No
food, and you can take out food from others. So we talked to Lisa, and Lisa, if you're still watching, here's what you said earlier on our Sunrise show about local businesses, not just your own, surviving during these tough times. We all have a favorite dining spot in Portland, and yours is definitely a favorite of many. How concerned are you about restaurants surviving this crisis? And really, when it comes down to it, how concerned are you about mothers surviving this crisis?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm concerned for all of us. This isn't just about me and mothers. It's about a restaurant community and our society, and it's a domino effect. The restaurant depends on the vegetable supplier and the meat supplier. Well, if they don't have anybody to serve, and where do they get their things from? The farmer. So everything is connected. Everybody is impacted by this. And while I love that people want to buy gift certificates for us, from us, I'm also worried about them and what's their future in their job. You know, it's not just about the restaurant industry. It's all of us that are impacted by this.
So that again was Lisa Schroder talking earlier on our Sunrise TV program about the impact that the restaurant industry is feeling right now during the coronavirus.
Well, I'm curious, and Lisa, please get back to us. I wonder if she has an estimate as the restaurant owner of what type of numbers or how much business does she think she will see in people ordering and picking up to go?
Here's what she was telling me yesterday when we talked on the phone was she wanted the restaurant to be closed for dine-in service, and she was more than happy. In fact, a lot of restaurants were encouraging Governor Brown to
And
make
it's because of a very interesting point. They can then qualify for a loss of business insurance claim. If it's mandated by the government that they be closed, they can get some financial help. Whereas, if it was their own decision for a while, they can't get that. So that's why over 150 restaurants signed this petition begging Kate Brown to follow, Washington and California.
But she also, and this is what I know about Lisa after all those years, she said it's the right thing to do. You're absolutely right about that financial piece, but she looked around, and when you talk about mothers, she is Portland's mother, at least in my opinion. She considers herself that way, and she looks out for long-time employees who have worked for her 20 years plus, so like family. She looks out for her customers, and she did say it's the right thing to do. We should not be having people into the restaurant right now.
Right. She didn't mention anything or talk to me about the insurance implications, but she did say that she wanted this scenario. This was like best case scenario: dine in, out, because she didn't feel comfortable with her servers and the public interacting as closely as they do in a dine-in situation. But she wanted to keep this situation going where you can come and get food to go, or mothers can now deliver food to you.
But then you have to decide, how is that just one cook that you're hiring?
Right.
Is it a cook and a prep guy, and it's only those two because you don't need servers?
But like we're doing it here, they're going to figure it out as they go.
Dishwasher, maybe, but how many orders are going to come in?
But we have a question from Amber Barham, and I think Lisa talked to you about this on air, and I don't remember exactly what she said, or we had a story that addressed this. Shouldn't we be concerned about eating even takeout food? Someone could be sick and handling the food. I'm all for buying gift cards online and using them at a later time, though. But what about that? Should people be concerned about eating even the takeout food?
Well, I'm not a doctor, Brenda. Am I concerned about it? A little bit. I've thought about that every time we've eaten out in the last couple of weeks. I've thought about, at some point, this food is being handled by somebody.
So my producer's telling me in my IFB that Kristins Severance did that story. They're looking up the answer. She did one of those. We're answering your questions. And
all Lisa said to this point was that if you have, if you request that we drop the food into your car, we can do that. There doesn't have to be a human interaction when it comes to takeout or delivery. You can order the food through the website. You can order it on the phone. You can stop by the curb. They can come out and put the food down. You can come out and get it yourself. They can drop it off on your doorstep. But
I'm certain Lisa would tell us that they are going out of their way to be as clean and conscious as they possibly can.
Our executive producer, Celeste, is saying that we can run Kristin's answer, just that one segment. Let's do it.
I'm sure Amber would enjoy that.
Yeah.
We've been getting so many questions. Please keep sending these questions through social media, through email. Answering them really helps so many people. So our first question, is it safe to get a delivery, to order from restaurants through Grubhub or DoorDash. Our experts say that your food is most likely safe, but the question is the person delivering it to you. Have they been exposed? Experts recommend don't do a handoff. Have them drop it off on the doorstep, wipe down the bags, wipe down the containers, and wash your hands after you handle the bag. Next,
Okay, there you go. That is the answer.
We still have people that are upset with the way things are being handled. We had a viewer, I'm just pulling up, Dennis Wade, and I've seen this comment a lot in the last couple of days, and I don't think we're going to answer it again because we've answered it so many times. Please compare this virus and its stats to the swine flu, H1N1 virus, please. I think the point being, some people still believe that this is not as serious a situation as we as a country are making it out to be. I saw earlier comments saying our governors, speaking I guess about both Governor Brown and Governor Inslee in Washington, are blanking idiots. And I'm just curious about what about the decisions yesterday make them idiots? You know, whether you agree
They
or
don't want to
disagree with their
collapse the
policy.
economy. It's the last thing they want
Right.
to do,
Yeah.
you know, or have citizens die. But yeah, I mean, they say, what was it, Brenda, in that podcast, that the U.S. is 2 weeks behind Italy.
Yes.
And Italy in one day had what was it, 350 deaths or something in one day?
Exactly.
And really the marker that makes this so much different is the need for ventilators and hospital equipment and hospital beds when a lot of patients come in. And we only have,
Overwhelms the hospital
688
system.
ventilators in the
Oregon.
state of Oregon. And they say those could be taken, you know, in minutes. And they're having to make some pretty dang harsh decisions in countries like Italy, where say you have an 80-year-old person who has, what was it, renal failure was the example or something, and they come down with coronavirus, they're going to have almost lung failure. They are going to need a ventilator. Then you have a 40-year-old guy who comes in with coronavirus, and this doctor, head of a hospital outside of Milan, said they're going to choose the 40-year-old guy because they're having to make some serious.
They want to make sure that
decisions.
the person that they put in that hospital bed or on that ventilator will get the most benefit from
Yes.
it. And it is a calculation. The 80-year-old will not. So they are making those life or death choices right now. The doctor, he was on the Daily podcast, which is
the New York
produced by the
Times.
New York Times, and he got emotional. I mean, he went home for the first time in 2 weeks. He has just been immersed in his hospital and taking care of people, and they are overwhelmed. And that's what the state of Oregon doesn't want, what President Trump and all the people on his coronavirus task force don't want, and they see it coming. They do not want a spike in cases and to have all those people overwhelm our hospital system so they cannot care for the number of people who need care. And that's why the social distancing, that's the flatten the curve. There are people out there so wrongly who do not believe that this is a national health crisis. And I think sometimes that's what they just keep, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to do what I want, I don't believe it, no matter who says it. And that is going to get us in trouble, because we've heard from Anthony Fauci, and maybe it's not Anthony Fauci, it was another health expert. But he said if everybody doesn't do it, you know, you're kind of defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
The message that I thought that's sort of the takeaway: if you're living life normally right now, you're not doing it correctly.
Governor Inslee.
Well,
That
look
was
at
it.
this room. I mean, right? Like, people would be sitting over here. This is our Content Discovery Center,
Right.
otherwise known as the assignment desk, where normally we would have at least one person sitting there right now answering phones, responding to emails, listening to the police scanner. Beyond that, you see a bunch of empty desks. That is normally our digital team. Shout out Jeff Thompson, who's listening right now. All these folks are working from home now. They are running the stream that you're watching right now. Jeff is from his house. And because the more people we can get out of this room, save for us essential staff, the better.
Jeff's in a
Upstairs where our
bathrobe and slippers
sales.
right now. What do you think?
Jeff, what are you wearing right now?
Bathrobe and
No, we don't want to know.
He's gonna text me
I
right
have
now.
enough
What are
bad
you doing?
images in my mind.
It's true, and you know what? I absolutely get it. It is not easy to make the changes. Even if you want to, you kind of forget, because it's a habit. We've done it our entire lives. We've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. And so, you know, it took us a while to catch up, kind of late to the party. You know, we were here.
We were a little late, yep.
And the media, I think, you see it nationally as well. They're distancing themselves. But think of how many times in other natural disasters we run to trouble. You know, there's an area that is completely decimated and authorities are telling everybody to stay out. Who's standing out in the middle of whatever? The media reporting on it, into war zones. It's like this is the one time that it affects us in a way that we have never seen.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that because then we become part of the problem. And we should have done it earlier and we didn't do it earlier, but it's not too late. We're doing it now. You guys need to do it now. It is that critical.
I don't know if I want to fire you up again at 7:22 because we only have 3 minutes left. But as you were saying earlier about people are out there who are living in denial, for lack of a better phrase. As you're saying, I'm thinking out there is out there right there because Melissa, I had her comment pulled up as you were saying that. And Melissa says, if you are scared of any of this, just stay home. If you're weak, immune, stay home. If you're old, stay home. All great points, but the real point is we should all be doing that, not just if we fall into one of those 3 categories. If you're brave and you're well, you should still be living differently today than you were last week, last month. That's the message.
Nutty headline. You know Jared Leto, the actor?
Yeah.
So he was doing something very Jared Leto-ish. He was like in the desert on a 12-day like isolation meditation. He just came out to see all of this that's happened.
Oh my
He tweeted
goodness.
for the first
he had
time.
no idea.
Wow.
He'd heard of coronavirus because he was in it for 12 days. But none of this like states shutting down, people staying indoors.
Wow.
And so, you know, he's coming out of his Zen state, finding out like,
my
holy.
God.
First thing he did was get online and check his
It
401k.
was, yeah.
What?
Exactly.
No, I remember it's the
brutal.
17th of March right now. And on the 29th of February, so 18 days ago, we had a big company gathering down at Punch Bowl Social in downtown Portland.
Oh, yeah.
That would not have happened if that event fell, 5 days, 6 days later.
Crazy,
Right.
And we didn't think twice about it that day.
Yeah.
And here we are just a few days later.
Who knows what today will bring? Watch and stay tuned. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.